Hello, welcome to the show. Danny, your team lost on the weekend, unfortunately, 1v4. I thought it was a really good game. What'd you make?
I thought the first half was, really close, competitive. From half time, you were thinking, what, this game could go either way. And then probably about the 50th minute or around when Mitch Moses kind of went off, I think it was kind of done for Parramatta then. I didn't realise how important Mitch Moses was to Para. They fell
so
apart
important.
after he went off.
I just wanted to, before we get into any of the games, I just want to talk about Brad Arthur's finals record, alright?
Mm-hmm.
So since 2017, he has won 2 finals games. That's it. That's it. It's been 9 appearances, he's won 2 games. They lost to the Storm, then they lost to the Cowboys, then they beat the Broncos. That was that famous win, 58-0. Then they lost to the Storm again. They lost to the Storm again. They lost to the Rabbitohs. They beat the Knights. Now they've lost to the Panthers twice in a row. 2 wins in finals since 2017. And they've spent a lot of time in the top 4 in those seasons as well, finishing in top 4 again this year. Real chance of going bang bang out of the semis this year. You still any questions about Brad Arthur? Or
I don't think there's any questions about Brad Arthur. I think you know what, you can't really say that they're unlucky in their finals run, like coming up against Storm, like when they were like good, crazy good, and Penrith obviously the last 2 years they've had a pretty good team. You can't put it all down to Brad Arthur. You know what? No. I think he's done a good job. And I'm happy. Like, even though we have lost all those games, I still am happy with what he's done with Parramatta.
That 2017 season sticks out to me. That was a season where you were a pretty good side. You lost 18-16 to the Storm straight up. He's went and played the Cowboys, red hot favourites against the Cowboys, and I think he's led that game as well. The Cowboys come back and beat us 24-16. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to ask you the question. I know you're a big Brad Arthur man, but the Eels just failed to get it done again. What was your favourite moment over the weekend, mate?
I do not have a favourite moment from the Parramatta game. Obviously, it was not a good game for Para at the end of the day. My favourite moment actually comes from your boys, the Cowboys. Tommy Dearden, taking a scoot from 40 metres out from his own line, scores a try under the sticks. I thought,
what a gun.
Yeah, we've been going on about him all year. Like, he's all effort, and I think good on him for coming through, like sticking to it.
I think we've ever since that Roosters loss, the first Roosters loss they had, and we watched that game, and we just watched Tommy Dearden really closely, and the amount of effort he had in that game. I think they ended up getting about 20 points, but he was in the frame for everything. Like, he was really good that day, and I thought ever since then his career's just gone to another level. Obviously, he played Origin in the third game. I thought he played really well. He was really good the other night, and that try was just a reflection of all his hard work, I think. My favourite moment was obviously the Cowboys game. That Valentine Holmes field goal was unbelievable. Val made some big tackles in that game too. 5 one-on-one tackles he had, which is just good on him. But anyway, let's get into the first game. Not your favourite game, but we're going to break it down. Panthers are through to their 3rd prelim in a row. We're going to get to the second half masterclass from Nathan Cleary, because that was just something special. I think you said in your prediction video on TikTok you'd hoped Nathan had forgotten how to play rugby league in 5 weeks. Well, he hadn't, and I thought he had probably the performance of the weekend. He was just unbelievable. But from the top, 0-0 for the first 15 minutes. I thought Para were actually shaping up all right too. I thought defensively they were really solid. Taylor May gets binned for a high shot on Penasiti. While I don't like him going back, I thought this was the right call.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, well, obviously, bloody almost knocked him out. Hit him flush on the jaw, and he lost the ball because of it. So, you know what? Even though, as you said, you don't like going back to like previous plays, but I think, right call.
I don't mind it if they get it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like going back more than like a set or so. Like, if that ever happens, that will be ridiculous. Going back more than a set.
Yeah. Just before we get off Taylor May, what do you think of the delayed suspension for him?
I think it's insane. I don't understand why he's allowed to play finals, and then you look at last year, Latrell wasn't allowed to play the entire final series. Unbelievable.
I thought it was ridiculous, and the NRL's kind of excuse was that it was the decision for the fans. My thing is, what fans? You made 1/16 of the fan base happy. So you've definitely angered way more fans than you've made happy with this decision. He's going to be suspended anyway for the prelim. They can't delay that suspension. I'm sure they tried. But to me, this just shows, this implies bias to me, and that's why I don't like it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Now, it's like, it kind of, you don't know, like, if you do get suspended or get in trouble with the law during the season, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, you want to take the suspension now, or you want to take it next year? Like,
yeah. Well, if he had got 2 weeks, like I say he gets suspended for 2 weeks, they get knocked out next week, right?
Yeah.
Then when does he serve that other week's suspension? Because he's already suspended round 1 and 2 next year.
Yeah.
So does that go to the end, or do they push that back even further and he serves his first one for this one and then 2 and 3 for the other one? It's just, I don't like it. Anyway, Penrith still managed to cross, even though they had a man down. Cleary puts up a bomb. That was a bit of a theme of the night. I thought the kick pressure from Para was telling all night. Really, really bad. Wonga Blake spills the ball. He becomes the highlight of the game. Wonga Blake, I thought he was let down by the people that were meant to pressure Cleary. I thought they really let him down on that night. Yes, he's got to catch it, but I thought they did him a disservice. And Brian Toll crosses on the right. Eels then hit back through Orican Kafusi. Great face ball from Reid Marnie. Excellent work from him. He's going to be such a big loss for you guys. And at this point, I thought the Eels were travelling the better of the two sides. I thought they were defending real well, and RCG was just killing it through the middle.
Yeah, you know what? I think that face ball, that's a low percentage play though. Like, I don't like those face balls close to the line. Like, they work sometimes, but a lot of the times you'll see a knock on there from a forward. But you know, we'll take it.
When it comes off, it comes off.
Yeah,
it looks
exactly.
good too.
Yeah.
Then I think Moses goes for a field goal. He misses. Cleary goes down the other end, kicks one. Panthers lead at the break 7-6. We come out into half time. Papali'i gets hit and stays down. Bunker has a look and they shoot to go 8-7 up. I was pretty happy with that one. He got charged as well, but I think he'll get just a fine.
Yeah.
Then we got a good little video of that. Him calling him a bitch and a pussy for like 30 seconds. The cameraman stayed right on it too. They knew what was happening. They stayed right there.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny. And then I think we get to the Nathan Cleary show. The absolute Nathan Cleary. Listen to these three plays, right? Holds up the ball beautifully, creates a 2-on-1 out of the back for Crichton and To'o, then puts in a lovely grubber for Dylan Edwards. He scores, show and go inside his own end, storms downfield, eventually comes off the right foot and puts James Fisher-Harris over. Those are three plays that just define the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll get to it. Mitch Moses goes down, and that's huge. But how good was Nathan Cleary in this second half?
He was unbelievable. He was out of this world. Yeah, I thought his kicking game was on point. Those big bombs, man, they'd be hard to catch. And what you said with the Parramatta not putting pressure on Cleary, I think you're 100% there. Like, we saw this in State of Origin. Like, Queensland, they'd rush Nathan Cleary, wouldn't give him any space, any time, and New South Wales kind of fell apart. And I think the same thing's going to happen with Penrith. If you put enough pressure on Nathan Cleary, like, he's not going to get those kicks off. So...
Yeah. I'll tell you who done it well. I thought South done it really well in the first week of the semis last year. Or they got to him and just put him under pressure. Make someone else kick. Like, make Api Korosia not a noted kicker. Make him kick out of dummy half. Make Jerome Luai kick.
Yeah.
You know, no other half had a kick in the game. Api Korosia had one grubber. Nathan Cleary had 23 kicks, 627 metres. And I don't think I saw him get put to the ground like 3 times. Like, thrown to the ground. Queensland do it so well. They push him after he kicks. They throw him to the ground. They get in his face. They hit him just all the time. You got to do that against Penrith because if you let him dictate to you, like those bombs were just gnarly. I know Wonga Blake dropped them, but man, I just don't feel like it's on his shoulders. We'll go Mitch Moses. Obviously, big moment in the game. Mitch Moses going down, 20 to go. I think the score was 13-8 at the time.
something like that, yeah.
He's obviously a massive loss. Like, he controls so much out there. I thought it was a big moment for Dylan Brown to step up a little bit, but Jake Arthur, he comes on, kicks the ball out in the full, knocks on as well, runs when there's a 3-on-2 as well, goes off the right foot.
He missed that tackle on Cleary too. Like, for Cleary to make that line break, yeah.
Yeah. Just had some really poor moments. Do you stick with Jake Arthur on the bench? Because I'm thinking, get Bryce Cartwright into this team.
Yeah. Honestly, like he had Jake Arthur in the entire time he's played in the NRL. I think he's had one good game. And it was against who? Was it Manly?
Yeah. If we're talking that Manly game, Dylan Brown was maybe had the game of his career that night too.
Yeah, so I don't understand why he's still on the bench. Maybe 18th man, but
Yeah.
like, come on. We got better options on like that we could have on the bench.
Yeah. Do you think there's any chance Moses misses this week? I just can't
No
see
chance.
him. I can't see him.
Okay.
He'll do anything
what
he
was
can to get out there.
Category 2, was it?
Yeah, it's Cat 2, yeah.
Yeah. What Cam Murray got Cat 1 last week.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it was Cat 1. It's whatever
no.
rules he has straight away. Yeah, Cat 1.
I think that's a Cat 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he did get.
Well, hopefully go to the same doctor as South.
Yeah. Nah, he'll play.
Yeah,
He'll play,
yeah.
I think.
Hopefully.
And that was the Panthers, man. I just thought Nathan Cleary, on the back of Nathan Cleary, they were just outstanding. When Moses went down, it was obviously going to be hard. But they got a chance next week. That's what they get for finishing top 4. So hopefully they can bounce back. Let's go on to the upset of the round.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders 28 defeat the Storm 20. Huge win for the Raiders. Sets up a matchup with Para next week. The Raiders have won 7 out of their last 8, and that run started when they beat the Storm back in round 18. They've been flying. It was a similar start to that game too, because the Storm were all over them early again, but their defense held up and just held up early, and they scored a great try through Matt Timoko. Jack Whiten, he's just, when he's on, he's still one of the best players going around.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. I think Joe Tarpany, Big Papa, I think they both had really good games, like especially late in that second half to kind of ice the game. I thought Josh Papali'i was awesome. He was making half breaks everywhere. Joe Tarpany obviously has been great the entire year. And also Corey Hayward-Naera and Corey Horsburgh off the bench. I thought they were really big for Canberra as well.
You just mentioned 4 then. You add Hudson Young to that and Ryan Sutton to that. They're some really good players. I'll say about Josh Papali'i and Joe Tarpany, it's less about their meters and more about what they get post contact. Their leg speed and leg drive is nuts.
Yeah.
Like Joe Tarpany had 170 odd meters, but 81 of which were post contact. Like, he's just getting through the line and bending the line, leaving players on their back. They're getting quick plays, the ball's on the back of it. And they're a team that can really, really trouble sides with Matt Timoko and Sebastian Chris. There's some classy outside backs there. So
yeah,
they're really, really dangerous. The Storm hit back pretty much straight away. And the skeptic in me, and I think this kept going the whole game, I just kept thinking, okay, here you go, the Storm. You know, okay, the Storm are going to kick on here. The Storm are going to run over them. And I kept thinking that pretty much the whole game. But the Raiders just kept coming. Fogarty scored, followed by a good try from Elliot Whitehead. And then we get to the second half. And I'm thinking, again, the Storm go over. The Storm score 2 tries to start the second half. Nelson scores a really soft try, I think, right next to the post.
Yeah.
And did you not think Melbourne were gone? Like, Melbourne were going to sail away?
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was going to say, after Nelson scored, I was like, here we go. This is it.
Yeah.
But I thought they kind of shot himself in the foot there. Like, in the last 10 minutes of that game, they gave away a penalty, and they had 3 errors.
Yeah.
3 errors.
And
you never... Yeah.
That Olam challenge was terrible. You got to have some respect for yourself. Olam knows he dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Like, Olam knows he got it wrong, and it come back to bite him because Nelson's one, he didn't drop the ball, but they couldn't challenge it.
Yeah. So, save your errors.
Yep. Save your challenges.
Challenges,
sure.
yeah. Sorry.
Let me say one thing, though. Now, we saw the try off the come off the head and went through, and a lot of people are like, oh, very, very lucky, you know what I mean? Like, that's a lucky try, wins them the game. Let me say this about the Raiders. Hudson Young's try in the second half, where he just wants to get to the ball more than Munster. Munster takes the lazy way out, doesn't want to bat it dead. In years gone past, the Storm would 100% back their defence. But instead, Hudson Young doesn't give up, doesn't die on the play, gets through, plants the ball. And that's what I think the Raiders have become. They've become that team that they're willing to chase everything, give everything. And when you're that team, more often than not, things will go your way. You know what I mean? The lucky bounce will go your way because you put yourself in those positions, and that's what the Raiders have become. So people will say it's luck, but I believe what they've been doing for the last 2 months, their ability to work harder than anyone else on the field, man, that's they're creating their own luck. And it showed at the end of that game, the ball bounces the right way, Rapana scores, they ice the game, they go down, they beat Melbourne in Melbourne. I thought it was just typical Raiders performance. These guys are dogs, man. They can really, really do some damage in this competition. They're just a bunch of mean blokes that want to hurt you every time they're. You see it. You see they love the physicality, and they out enthuse Melbourne. They beat them physically. They beat them mentally, and it's so hard to do that down there. So I was super impressed with the Raiders. What do you think? Are they a team that can threaten other sides? I know they're playing your side this week, but
I hope not.
Yeah.
Hopefully that was just a fluke game, but I mean, yeah, they did play a really good game. I thought a couple of those tries were un-Melbourne like. They were really soft, like Jamal Foley off the scrum. Like there was like 3 blokes on him, and he kind of just beats all 3 of them. And then Elliot Whitehead was pretty soft as well. But yeah, as you said, they're like a kind of a scrappy team that kind of want it more, that kind of bring you down to their level. So
they don't want to die, you know what I mean? Like even that first try, Whiten up the middle, someone didn't want to die with the ball, offloads it to Whiten, he didn't want to die with the ball, finds Timokol. Timokol he's got half an inch to work with Munster in front of him, doesn't want to die on the play, beats him, you know?
Yeah.
That's the kind of team that we're watching at the moment, which is really good to watch.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, now on to my favourite game of the weekend. I was out there. Probably 98% Sharkies fans. All the lines were super, super long as well. I do think if you finish in top 4 that first week, should definitely be at your home ground. But at another venue, this easily would have gotten another 10k there, I think, at minimum. But I still thought it was a pretty good night. What did you make of the atmosphere through the TV?
It was loud when the Sharks were scoring, and it was, you could hear a pin drop when the Cowboys scored. So, it was a good game though. Good game to watch on, and I reckon it would be awesome to watch live, but it was just good to watch on the telly, I thought.
Yeah, I think we both thought this would be entrenched in defense a little bit, like both very good defensive sides.
Yeah.
But it was more... I think there was a lot of fatigue in the game because the ball wasn't out too much. It was in play a long time. So that's why we saw a couple of uncharacteristic tries. Like it seemed like both sides were scoring a couple of soft-ish tries.
Yeah.
But I think there was just so much fatigue. We started off with Tom Gilbert's try. I've already spoken to you about this, but funny thing happened at ground level. So they obviously checked the try and they checked for drivers. But on the review at ground level, we only heard Dearden interferes with Nico Hines and then silence.
Yeah. Yeah, well, on telly, that happens, and then you hear, like, the crowd erupt, and I'm thinking, hold on, are they deaf? Like, do they not know how it works? Like, typical Sharkies fans, like...
Yeah, well, so we don't hear anything, and obviously the crowd's cheering, partying, we're all waiting for just the no try to come up on screen, then it comes up try, and I dead set think that they've pressed the wrong button. And the crowd's chanting bullshit, they don't know what's happened, we got no clarification. Could you hear the chants through the TV? Because they were pretty loud.
Oh, no, I couldn't hear through the TV. I was just thinking, these idiots.
What idiots?
These idiots. But yeah, they were saying that pretty much the touch from Dearden was inconsequential to what actually happened. Like, they were always going that way. So, like, even though he did touch him, like, he didn't kind of, like, forcefully push him. Yeah. So...
I thought it was a fair try at live. But like a lot of these calls, I'm a passionate Cowboys fan. It's a semi-final. So if... Denny's going to be the voice of reason anyway on this show because I'm probably going to skew towards the Cowboys on everything. The Sharks hit back really quick. And that's how the game went. It went very, very back and forth. Toby Rudolph scored, I thought was a pretty soft try. That was on the back of a set restart. We didn't get an angle of the grounding live. Of the one angle we saw, it looked like he got held up. Did you see an angle of the ball down?
Look, not that I can recall. I can't remember seeing an angle of seeing the ball down, but maybe it was one of those cases where it's like you can't overturn it because it's like there's not enough evidence to overturn it. But yeah.
I think they're getting worse and worse at not showing you the money shot for tries. I think sometimes the bunker because they have so many different angles to us. They probably do see an angle, but I'd love to get that live because we all watched that again, looked up at the screens, like, oh, he hasn't got it down. We're waiting for them to go to the bunker.
Yeah.
And then next minute he's just kicking a goal. After that, the Sharks go bang bang with a nice try through Talakai. I thought Nico was outstanding. What he's done all season, actually, at halfback. He sweeps both sides of the field. He creates that extra man, and he plays that last pass really well. Talakai strolled over untouched. So they went bang bang, and then the Cowboys went bang bang. You've already mentioned the Dearden try, 60-metre solo effort, a little bit of lazy marker work there. And then Hiku scores a great try. What about that cutout pass from JT?
Like, where's that come from? I've never seen him throw like a pass. Well, hardly. Let alone a 20, 30-metre spiral pass straight to Hiku's chest on the run. Yeah, at pace. Like, where did that? I was thinking, who is this?
I think you heard Cameron Smith in the box go, oi! What's that about? And anyway, he hits Hiku. Hiku gets on the outside of Talakai and then beats Will Kennedy back on the inside. Hiku probably had the best game of his career, to be fair. Ran for well over 300 metres. He also broke 8 tackles as well. Really happy for him there. Then the Sharkies, again, back and forth. They hit back through Will Kennedy. We go into halftime square. I think on the edge of halftime, there's a disallowed try to the Sharks. I think Connor Tracy knocks the ball on over the line. That was a big call, I thought. Because they go in after the Cowboys got ahead twice in the first half. If the Sharks can get back to a 6-point lead going into halftime, that would have been massive. But that one was disallowed. Then the Cowboys strike first. Taulagi scores a good try down the left. Then it was the Sharkies for a lot of the second half after that. They scored 2, had 1 disallowed. We'll talk about the 1 disallowed. What are your thoughts on that? The obstruction on Valentine?
Okay, so the rule does say inside shoulder. You have to hit the inside shoulder. You can't run on the outside shoulder. The line that Jesse Romian was running obviously was an overs line, so he's running towards the sideline a little bit. I thought for that to be okay, he needed to straighten up. Yep. You kind of saw him veer off to the right there. I think he's got to straighten up there, and obviously Valentine Holmes was not going to get there, and he took a dive.
No.
But I mean, that is the rule, and I don't really have a problem with it because they've called that one before. Like, they've called it back before. Like, if it was the first time they called it back, then yeah, maybe I got a bit of a problem with it. But I think they've been pretty consistent with that rule all year.
Yeah, and it's not really something you say about the referees overly consistency.
Yeah.
But if you just stick to the outside shoulder, if you tell everyone in rugby league, if they run at the inside shoulder, fine. Outside shoulder, not fine. I think people get a lot more comfortable with the rule. I thought Rainey could have probably done a better job of just getting through the line anyway, instead of pulling up. They all pull up to see what happens on the outside of them.
Yeah.
Just get through the line. I was fine with that one. Obviously, don't take my word for it because I could not care less if they scored or not.
Yeah. Look, you know what? I was okay with it as well. Like, you get that all the time, and it does get pulled up, but it gets pulled up every single time. Yeah. So that's the only reason I'm okay with it.
And then we get into the final 10 minutes. Sharks up by 8. Connor Tracy sent to the bin for a professional foul on Val Holmes. I'll start. I think the footage clearly shows Tracy plays the man. That's my opinion. I thought it was that clear that I thought it was a penalty try.
Is there people out there saying he went for the ball?
Yeah.
You can see he wraps his arm around him and then lets go. So, you know what? Just go back and watch the footage.
I think he actually makes a concerted effort to go for Valentine Holmes too. And then when he realises the ball's passed, then he lets go.
Yeah.
I think. I thought it was a penalty try. I was happy with the shot at goal, and I thought it was the right decision to take the 2. And the sin bin, consistently, if it's not a penalty try, it's a sin bin. And if it is a penalty try, then it's not a sin bin. That's how they've played it for years now.
Look, I've got a quick question. So, in that situation, would you have rather a penalty try, or were you happy with the sin bin? Like, what would you rather in that moment?
So in the moment, I'm thinking penalty. I'm thinking sin bin because I'd rather the last 8 minutes playing 12 men.
Yeah, nah.
I like our option there better. So yeah, I was pretty happy with the result there. And then obviously the Cowboys make their way back down the other end of the field. 30 seconds to go. JT runs a good line on the back of a little bit of shape and finds his way to the line. This was right next to the post. I couldn't even watch the shot of goal. Couldn't watch it. Turned around, could not even look at it. I was like, Because I know there's been people this year. I know Munster's missed one. Sam Walker's missed one close to the post. I didn't even want to look. I know it can happen. He knocks it over. We go to extra time. Interesting thing about the extra time in this game, the crowd had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. Like how
but
so?
the NRL don't do a good job of informing people, to be fair. Like, probably half the crowd knew that you go extra time than golden point.
Mm.
The whole time we're in extra time, you could hear people explaining it to other people in the crowd. Saying, no, it's not golden point. Like, because they would say, oh, why didn't we just kick a field goal there? And they'd be like, oh, no, because the game wouldn't end. So, like, there's no use giving them a 7-tackle set. And that went on for pretty much the whole of extra time. So we got to golden point anyway. But 92 minutes, I think we went for. And then step up Val Holmes. I think we only had one other shot at field goal, which was Nico Hines. That got charged down. Then we go Val Holmes, 45 metres out. Is he kidding himself or what?
What a kick. 45 out. Like, that's hard to do. Like, just when you're out in the field kicking a footy, like, under pressure. People run at you.
Fatigue. All that fatigue. Like, he'd already run for 150 metres that game. He'd already played 92 minutes. He'd made the most one-on-one tackles in the game too. Just steps up, knocks it over. It was such a good kick too. And then the Cowboys go on to their first prelim ever at home. I love this game, and I thought we deserved the win.
Yeah, for sure. It was a close back and forth game. I was the only tip that I got right all weekend, so I'm happy the Cows won.
Yeah. I think we might have lost Denny's camera. I'm not sure, but we're going to keep going.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to keep punching on.
Yeah.
Then, when you thought the weekend of footy couldn't get any better, we go to the Roosters Rabbitohs. And I don't think in my life I've seen a game like this. Absolutely absurd. It's obvious these teams hate each other. It was good drama to watch from the outside, but I think it was obvious the crowd, the referees lost control of this game for mine. If there's no reason in any game where 7 players should be sent to the sin bin, I think the referee had to take some control back of the game and maybe send a player off. Like, put your foot down, you know? So I'm not going to deal with this anymore. Because I think 2 of them ended up being just for a scuffle. He needed to put his foot down. Ashley Klein needed to take some control back in this game. We had Victor go in the 4th, Tom go in the 18th, Tane Mild went in the 19th and 65th. Victor went in the 60th again. Jared Brewer-Hargraves went in the 50th, and Tavita Totola went in the 60th minute. What'd you make of all the sin bins, and what'd you make of the overall atmosphere of the game?
The atmosphere looked hectic. Like, it seemed loud. Maybe just as loud as last weekend when we went. But I'm happy with most of those sin bins. I thought the last 3, though, were maybe a bit too much. I didn't really agree with the Victor Radley's second one, Totola, and Tane Milne's second one as well. I thought they were all kind of, pretty soft.
I think he just didn't want a fight or something to break out. I think that's what he was doing. But send him off. Like send off Victor. If you're going to bin him again, send him off.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I think it was less the offences and more just the game was hyper aggressive.
Yeah.
And I thought he could have let some of them go because it was going both ways. Like, people weren't just out there being thugs. I thought just people cared about the result. That Jared Brewer-Hargraves sin bin, poor Nelson Asos for Solomona has made a career on that tackle.
Yeah.
And Jared gets binned for it pretty much straight away. So
he's facing 3 weeks for that.
Yeah.
3 weeks. And Nelson's done it 3 times in 3 weeks and got nothing. So,
nothing.
Yeah.
Let's get into the game. The Rabbitohs score first through their left side through Alex Johnson. Shock. I mean, the bloke scored back-to-back 30-try seasons now. Unbelievable. That left side, everyone knows it's coming. You just can't do anything about it. Then the Roosters go bang, bang. And then I thought they were just going to kick on from where they went last week. After they scored those 2 tries, they were making pretty good yardage up the middle of the field. They looked like they were cutting them to bits in packages. And I thought the Roosters were going to go on with it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, you know what? James Tedesco was a huge loss.
Massive.
Unbelievable. Like words can't even describe how big a loss he was. Like, I was watching Suoliti filling at fullback, and there were times when the Roosters would get 3-on-2 or 2-on-1 with Suoliti and an outside man, and he wouldn't pass it. I don't know if he can't actually pass the ball, or he doesn't know how.
Yeah, well, what wing's he been on all year? He's been on that right wing.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't know how to play a slot left to right.
Yeah. Well, it was both sides. There was an overlap on both sides, and he did not pass the ball. And I think the Roosters really missed. I think if James Tedesco stays on the field, I think they still win that game.
I ruled them out as soon as he was ruled out. I said no Joey, no Teddy.
Yeah.
That's so much of their strike gone. So I thought they were gone after that. Then we go. How's this for Tom Burgess? Comes on in the 15th minute. Within 3 minutes, he had 2 head highs and a sit in.
Yeah, good on him.
Yeah, and now he's probably going to miss next week and the week after. 2 weeks, was it? Can't remember.
I think, yeah. Is it 2? 2 with the early guilty? 2 to
Maybe
3.
1 with the early guilty.
1 with the early guilty. 1 to 2. That makes sense.
Can't remember. Sorry. Someone will put it in the chat anyway. And then Milne follows him not long after. Then they go to 13 on 11. And somehow, some way, the Rabbitohs managed to create the extra man. And Latrell goes over. Latrell Mitchell, man. He was so good. He was so good on this game.
Yeah. Well, they scored where, I think it was where Drew Hutchinson was playing in centre. He was playing right centre.
Yeah, okay.
And he made some pretty poor reads defensively.
Was he playing right or left? Left, wasn't he?
I'm sure it was right.
I just got visions of him creating havoc down the left.
No, because for I think the last try, Isaiah Tass's try.
Okay.
He dummied to Alex Johnson, and Hutchison rushed up, and he was left in no man's land.
They must have swapped sometime throughout the game because Paul Momorowski got done on the right side as well.
So they couldn't find.
Must have swapped.
Yeah, they must have swapped.
They must have swapped. Because I can remember Alex Johnson's second try. He turns Momorowski in.
Oh, he does. Was he moved to the wing though? Momorowski.
I don't know. They had players. They had players dropping everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Like, I had a look. You know how we got 8 interchanges?
Yeah.
If you add up the HIAs and the free interchanges and the normal interchanges, the South actually used 12 interchanges and the Roosters used 10.
Wow. Well, the Roosters lost 3 players.
Well, this is a big issue, these interchanges, because if we don't tidy that up, the amount of free interchanges South got, like, to use 12, but what they're doing is, so if a player needs to come off for one of those free interchanges, if they get done for fair play, they bring a person off, they throw another one on, and then when they bring him back on, which is also free, they take another person off.
Yeah.
Which I think the only way they're going to clean it up is if you go off for a HIA or a injury, whoever comes on for you, when you eventually do come back on, you've got to go straight swap back.
Yep.
You know, you can't have Teddy come off for a forward, put Teddy back on, and then take off another forward. You know, that's cheating. That's giving 2 players a rest.
Yeah.
So I don't like that at all. But plenty of HIAs, plenty of sin bins, plenty of big moments in this game. Trell scores, and then we go into halftime. It's pretty much based on the goal kicking. It was 12-8. South start the second half on fire, scoring down their left again. Joey broke this one down. This is the Momorowski one. Joey broke this down so well. Cody Walker goes to the line, holds the ball up, literally waits for Momorowski to bite. He turns his hips in, then he throws the bus, and then it's game over.
Yeah.
Alex Johnson scores. And then I went through the interchanges, which were nuts. And then what do we get to? These guys were out on their feet. I think Jared Reid-Hargraves goes to the bin. And then the South Sydney capitalise on that through Jai Arrow. Then Nat Butcher goes over. Victor and Totola get in a scuffle. They both go to the bin. Then Milne goes to the bin. And then South score again, down a man.
Yeah, that was out on the left side, but that was a TAS, wasn't it?
That was the TAS one. How many times have we seen that this year?
I don't know. It happens far too often. The team with less men have an overlap somewhere.
Don't understand it.
It doesn't make any sense.
Do not understand it. It's like they're not numbering up what's in front of them. They're just... It's like they're being told, have this many players on this side, this many players on that side, and that's all the fullback's worrying about. That's all he's worrying about, because they're just... People are getting lost with their numbers constantly. I swear we've seen this 10 times this year, 20 times this year.
Yeah. Happens far too often. Like, too many times this has happened. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, let's do a grading on the Roosters and the Storm for their season. I had them both going to the grand final. My grand final's out in week 1, which was good. This was not the grand final I predicted at the start of the semis, but at the start of the year. I'm going to go Storm. They lost a couple of players. They dealt with it. They're just a different side when Ryan Papenhuyzen's in the competition.
Yep.
But for them to go out week 1, no one would have been foreseeing that. So I am going a C- for the Storm.
Like, just the entire season.
Entire season.
Yeah, look, they missed the 4, which was huge. The first time in, 7 or 8 years. And they're out of the first week of the finals.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd have to be, at least a C. It was no good. At least.
And some of the games they lost to the Raiders, they lost to the Sharks, they lost to Manly, they lost to the Eels twice, they lost to Penrith, they just lost to the Raiders again, so they lost to the Raiders twice. Those are teams that just don't beat the Storm.
Yeah. But, yes, you don't... Well, of course they did lose a few big players, like you had Papenhuyzen and then Cam Munster's playing out of position.
I think Hughes was in and out a few times this year.
Yeah. So that's some pretty big names there, so...
Yep. I'm going C-. What are we thinking for the Roosters? I think they done a little bit better than the Storm, in my opinion. They just got a bad matchup week 1, and they, to lose Teddy and Joey, their 2 best players. I'm going to give them a B+. I think they finished really well.
Yeah.
Had a great run at the end of the year. They got a little bit unlucky with a couple of injuries really late, but that last 8 weeks, what they do, they beat the Dragons, Knights, Manly, Broncos, Cowboys, Tigers, Storm, South. That was their last 8.
Yeah, look, I was going to agree with you. I was going to say B+ as well. I'm still sold on them winning if James Tedesco's doesn't go off.
Yeah, so, and not only winning, going deep in this competition.
Yeah. He's a huge loss. Yeah,
massive. I think I rate him as, if not the best player in the game, definitely top 3.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Okay, on to next week. Massive. 2 massive matchups. I know. I don't even think you're excited for next week.
I'm nervous.
What do you got? It's the Raiders versus the Eels. I'm pretty sure that one's on the Friday night. Yes, $7.50 CommBank. Eels currently $1.50. Raiders $2.60. What are you thinking?
What's the line? Does it got? You surely have the line up.
I could probably get the line. What are you thinking? What's a fair line there?
Fair line would be 6.5.
6.5. Here we go. The line is 5.5.
Oh, I'd take the Eels at the line there. Sure, -5. I think Eels could win. It depends if Mitch Moses is ruled out. I think it would be huge for the Raiders if Mitch Moses is out. It'd give them a real big shot at winning that game. But I hope he's not out, please.
This is what I'm thinking, baby.
Oh no.
This is what I'm thinking. Where's the badge? There's a badge on here. This is what I'm thinking. Canberra.
I hope
get
not.
It done.
I
think my opinion is that the way to beat Para is through their forward pack. You got to beat them in the middle, and I think the Raiders have one of the best forward packs currently in the competition, and they're fit. They're fit as the Raiders right now, so I think they can win. I think that I'm going to gobble up that 260, take them straight head to head. I like the Raiders, and I think the Eels go out, bang bang, in the semis. Unfortunately,
if they do, no, again.
I know.
I won't watch any more finals after that. If Parramatta lose, I'm not.
We've already got tickets to the grand final.
I'll go to the grand final. That's it.
Yeah, blindfolded.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll get legless. I'll get blind. I'll get kicked out.
Okay, on to the Cronulla Sharks Rabbitohs game. This will be an absolute cracker. I'm pretty sure this will be at Allianz. Pretty sure. Yeah, it's at Allianz. $1.85. The Rabbitohs favourites. $1.95 for the Sharks.
Oh.
Now, for me, it's gonna depend how the Rabbitohs pull up this week. Like, that was a war they went through for a lot of that Roosters game. They've just played the Roosters 2 weeks in a row. I am tipping the Bunnies. Don't worry, I've got another scarf here, another Rabbitoh scarf. Hometown guy Tings. Yeah, I'm going the Rabbitohs. I think the Sharks will go bang bang out of the semis. I do think the Rabbitohs have too much strike. The best version of the Rabbitohs will win this game. But where are you at?
Yeah, look, I don't know, to be honest. Like, I can see the Sharkies coming out and giving it to them, but then I can also see the Bunnies, like, flogging the Sharks.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick with what I thought at the start of the finals. I thought the Sharks would lose for week 1, and I thought they'd lose week 2 as well. So I'll go with the Bunnies as well.
Okay, so I'm going the Raiders. You're going the Eels. We're both going the Bunnies. I can't believe the Raiders have gone from a home semi up 8 points with 7 minutes to go to being the underdog in the week 2. That's a fall from grace for the Sharkies. What do you think the line is in that game? What's a fair line?
The line it'll be low. The line will be like 1.5.
Exactly right, 1.5. I think total match points will be under 43.5. I'll take the unders there.
Oh, well, we saw two of the best defensive teams in the comp go at it the other day.
Yeah.
And it went way overs. My bet, I went and had a look at their records, and it was like, they both let in like an average of 15 points a game. And I was like, all right, well, this is a sure thing.
It was over by half.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, that's it. That was a pretty comprehensive breakdown. I can't wait for this week. I'm away all weekend, but I'm going to try and watch both of these games, obviously. And the Cowboys, they got a home prelim. Penrith have got a home prelim. How are they shaping up? Oh, that's where we'll finish. What kind of chances are you giving Penrith to go all the way right now? Home semi, rested. They seem pretty fit. If you were to give it out of 100%...
To win the grand final or just make it?
Yeah, to win it all. Win it all.
Mate, they'd have a higher percentage. It'd be something like 60%.
Yeah, I've just thinking about it. I've got them at like 70%.
Yeah.
I think they're a red hot chance. And the Cowboys, where would you put them right now, percentage wise?
Maybe something like 25.
Yeah, I was thinking 20. I think they do make the grand final though. I think that Townsville, that's a great advantage to have in our back pocket.
100%.
All right, we'll be back next week. Go the Raiders.